Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 461. And on the show this week, we have my early thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws, a wild story around an accessibility advocate who catfished the community, and Gamescom roundup. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce you to the friendly voice joining me around this digital table today. Catherine, what's up?
Hello. It's just the two of us.
I'm not gonna
make it if
Oh,
we
it's your
try.
turn to sing the song, not me. At this point, we need to make it a soundbite because summertime is summertime, and Joelle wanted to go touch grass, so we said, "Yes, girl, go touch grass."
She said she's somewhere like in the mouth of the Mississippi River, and I was just like, "Okay, just tell us about it next week." Sounds
Guaranteed, there's going to be a tale, and I hope it involves scuba diving.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into what we've been up to this week, I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. And if you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee, you can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. And if you're on TikTok, you can follow us on TikTok at The Girls on Games. Actually, no, there's no "the" in there. It's just at Girls on Games. Because I couldn't find it. Because we've been sitting on it for a while with the intention of doing a TikTok account. And I got up the gusto and started this past week. So I've got 3 TikToks up there right now as we record this. An intro, a video from the Star Wars Outlaw event, and some Pokemon hunting at the CNE, which we'll talk about in a bit. But there may be a few more by the time you listen to this podcast. So yeah, go give us a follow, and much appreciated, because I spend enough time on TikTok now consuming everybody else's content. I might as well throw my work at it too, right?
I've spent way too much time on TikTok. I low-key need to uninstall the app, but now I can't because we have our own account.
So yeah, my face is all over it right now. Kat's next.
She says threateningly.
Yep, no pressure at all. Kat, what have you been up to this week?
Well, went back to work. That happens. But yeah, mostly just work. Friday, I went to get yet another tattoo because why the fuck not? As I'm trying to financially recover from buying new appliances, I'm like, what's another like $500 on a tattoo? I just grabbed a flash from a local tattoo artist. She had blackberries, and the style fits with everything else I've had, and everything else I've had been custom pieces, and this one was just like sitting there, and I was like, let me grab that. Thank you. Oh, so I had to get that on Friday afternoon. It's still healing. It's still like in the second skin bandage right now. Just waiting for it to stop spewing extra ink and plasma. Yeah, that's what happened. Yet another tattoo. But more importantly, because it's end of August, tomato season.
Oh, yes.
And you can't, this is audio, but I am doing the pinch finger shake Italian. So we went to Jean Talon Market I think we paid like $20 for like 15 pounds of tomatoes, something like that. Filled 2 backpacks, went to the next stall over, bought a big basket of local strawberries, and then walked back home. And then I proceeded to make spaghetti sauce the whole afternoon. And as is tradition, the day that I make the sauce, I also make lasagna for dinner, which is amazing. It's just not the weather for lasagna and spaghetti sauce
Not
because it's
right
still
now.
kind of warm. No.
No, it is still. We had like one blip of cool, and I was like, yes, finally. No, it's still hot.
No. It was still very much summery, but like the deals were there and I had the time this week to do it. So I made that. And usually what I do is I blend tomatoes and then I make a small thing of pizza sauce and then 2 big thing of like spaghetti meat sauce. And then whatever's left, I blend and I freeze into Tupperwares. Like I have 2 big Tupperwares. Whenever we run out of sauce, I will thaw these and I'll make more spaghetti sauce. Usually makes another like big Dutch oven worth of sauce. But I still have tomatoes left over. So everything we're going to eat this week is going to have tomatoes in them.
That's okay.
So today I made chili. I'm also thawing some chicken and some chicken stock. I have some plans for a chicken curry of some sort, like a butter chicken type situation. Not exactly that, but, and then I've been looking, people make a lasagna soup.
Lasagna soup?
Like a lasagna soup, yeah.
Huh.
So you kind of like, with stock and tomatoes and stuff, you kind of like make a creamy tomato base. And then you kind of like break off the lasagna, like the lasagna pasta and cook it in there. And when you serve it, you top it off with sour cream and or cheese of some sort. So I'm like, it's actually like, it's going to start raining as of Wednesday and dropped like 20 degrees. I'm like, I could do that like later in the week. If I still have like leftovers from making the sauce, like I'm just looking into stuff. Some of them are in the fridge right now to see if they can last another week. If not, I will blend them and freeze them, or I don't know, make a small batch of just tomatoes, cooked tomatoes. I'll see. But like usually this time of year, everything I make has tomatoes in them because they're in season and they're cheap and they're accessible and they're delicious.
Delicious. Yeah, I was walking home on Saturday and I noticed that at one of the little markets there, they had bushels out there. And I was talking to my sister and her husband about it. And I was like, are we doing sauce? And they're like, oh, yeah, because they're prepping for a baby. So they want to make sure that they've got, because baby's incoming. So they want to make sure that they're ready to go. So, yeah, there will be a sauce making day. And meatballs. They want to make meatballs, too. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. You can buy like the big, like you go to Costco or Costco like place or the butcher.
Yeah.
If they can have like get like a giant family size thing of meat, and then you can make a bunch of meatballs.
That's the plan.
You can cook them and freeze them, or you can freeze them uncooked. And I think you can cook them from the freeze.
We'll figure out. I would imagine, I don't know if we're going to cook them. Unless we smoke them, because they have a smoker. So that could be interesting.
Could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that was, or it's going to be a good fall when it comes to food and stuff. That's the thing I love about when it starts getting colder and you've got the, the cozy, comforting eats and hot coffee and the pumpkin spices lattes are back out there again. For those who are
I
so
prefer
inclined.
that than barbecue seasons. Like barbecue season is nice at the start of the summer when it starts to warm up and it's sunny and you're outside barbecuing. But as soon as like it hits above like around 30 degrees Celsius, I'm just like sweaty and greasy. Like I didn't do that much barbecue this year because it was just too hot to be outside in front of a grill.
We don't stop barbecuing in my household. Like, fuck it.
Really?
Negative 40 in Montreal, we go outside and barbecue. Oh, yeah. And like Christmas Eve in my parents' house, it was usually barbecue steaks.
Wow. And the barbecue could get warm?
Oh, yeah. Home in Newfoundland, it doesn't get that cold. But I would do it in Montreal. Okay. We barbecued in Montreal.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't care.
Really?
Yeah. It takes a little while for it to heat up, but...
Yeah. Maybe it's because I have a charcoal one and like the flame just goes out.
Oh, no. Propane, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a busy week. But most of it happened over the course of the weekend. A full tilt normal work week. But then on Saturday, I decided that I was going to see how many steps I could get in one day by doing both Fan Expo and the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition, on the same day. So I met up with my buddy John at 9:30 in the morning downtown to go to Fan Expo. Mike had gone to work, so I kind of left the house with him. And he and I went through the convention, got to see Patricia Somerset, which was really nice, because I hadn't seen her since, well, I mean, we spoke to her for episode, was it 400 or 450? I don't even remember now at this point, but
it's been a while.
She's 400.
She came over a few times on the podcast.
Yeah, and then, but we hadn't seen each other in person since, I think, it must be when we did that escape room thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so nice to see her. And then went and explored, the show and everything. See all the activations and stuff. I went through the Artist Alley, made a few acquisitions. I purchased this nice t-shirt that I'm wearing here now. And the reason I really bought it is because it's so damn soft. But it actually has elves building a gaming PC on it.
Oh, that's adorable.
So that's really cute. I'm trying to remember the name of the company now. I will actually, it's on my phone because I got a receipt from them. Let's see. Baby Sama Inc. is the name of the company. And I also purchased, probably my favorite purchase of the day, a pin, because I really like putting pins on my jean jackets and things like that to have like a little bit of nerdy swag. This one is from an artist called Death Petal, DeathPetal.ca, Death Petal. Their website's not online right now as they're going to a lot of different cons and stuff, but you can follow them on Instagram and Twitter. But Catherine, this pin is a meme. It's the Pikachu meme, but it's all sparkly.
Oh, I fucking love it.
I saw it and had to buy it.
I'm already following her on
Are
Instagram.
you really?
Oh my God.
I'm kind of
How
sad.
have I never bought from her?
I'm kind of sad because I went to see the next event they're going to be at. There is a patches and pins convention here in Toronto on the 14th of September, and I'm not going to be here. But that's my kind of convention. So yeah, I bought that along with some cute Pikachu earrings and a brooch for me and my sister. And then it got really busy in the con. It was really busy at freaking 10:30 when John and I were walking through Artist Alley. It was like, holy smokes. He had gone the day before on the Friday, and he said it was pretty busy in there. We were talking. I was like, okay, well then let's go early. Let's go first thing. So yeah, it was there essentially when the place opened up, and damn, it got really busy. And that convention takes over 2 areas of the convention center in downtown Toronto. So it's huge.
It's pretty big.
I think it's the biggest con like that in Canada.
It is the biggest nerd type con. Yeah, it's the biggest in Canada. Easy peasy.
Made me think back to the days that we went with Ubisoft.
That was a while. That was for I think they had at the booth, they were previewing Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, they were previewing Siege. That would be 2015 then. And
yeah, and
we
the
were doing
Xbox booth had
Assassin's Creed unboxing video thing that we did
for Syndicate.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then, yeah, the Xbox booth where they had that thing where you had to go around and do all the stuff and get your badge, your passport stamped or whatever.
And they had Halo 5.
Yeah, I think it was Halo 5. Crazy, eh?
Oh,
we did that
yeah.
Just Dance thing they had there too.
Yeah. And it was huge.
Yeah. That was a fun weekend.
Wild weekend. Yeah, it was busy. I remember coming home. I remember us being on the train from Toronto to Montreal back.
Yeah.
And just passing out.
Yeah, we were zonked. So I did that. I had my 11,000 steps in just doing that con.
Yeah, of course he did.
11,000 steps then. Then I went with John and met up with Mike at his work, went grabbed some lunch, and then I had to head home because I had to take the dog out. So I have to walk a bit there. I have like 1.5 kilometers or so that I have to walk from the subway to get to my house. And then I left to go to the Canadian National Exhibition, the CNE, because we wanted to go and eat all the crazy foods. So we were going to meet up with my sister and my brother-in-law, and went down there to meet at 6:30 in front of Medieval Times, which I still haven't done and I still need to do at some point.
Yes.
So we went into the con and wandered around, or at the X, and wandered around and ate a whole bunch of food. Nothing actually too crazy. We had like a corn dog. We had a ice cream sandwich that made out of a waffle. Oh, I'd say the greatest thing that we had was spring rolls, but they were cheeseburger spring rolls, and they tasted like a goddamn Big Mac.
I'm hooked. Is the CNE the thing you go every year and then you tell us about like last year you had rainbow shit?
Yeah, I had like watermelon ice cream and dill pickle cotton candy, and yeah, that's exactly where you go and have all the crazy stuff. And they've got like a craft fair. They've got games and stuff. So here's where the whole TikTok thing comes in. As we're going through the spot where they have all these like carnival games where you can like win prizes, you know, it's like hit darts at a balloon or shoot water at a thing or whatever, right? All the stuffies around that they had that you could win. There were so many Pokemon, and not just like the starters. Like, I was seeing tons. I saw Togepi. I saw Popplio. I saw Scorbunny. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, these are, like, kind of random. So, yeah, I played Gotta Catch 'Em All, videotaping all the different Pokemon I could find at the X. So that's on my TikTok, or on our TikTok now, Girls on Games. But, yeah, that was a fun adventure. And then we walked to get out of there. We brought Elise and Bill to the Go train, because Elise had they had these folks there at the craft fair that were making these stuffed animals, but they're like huge. They're actually like ottomans, so they're fairly heavy and they're made out of leather. I'll have to send you a picture of it afterwards. They were gorgeous, and of course they're having a baby. There was an elephant, so they got the elephant, and it was pretty heavy, so we helped them take it to the Go train. And then Mike and I walked our way out, and then walked up a bit away from where all the chaos was, so that we could get an Uber home. And we got home. I looked at my watch, and I had 30,000 steps. That's right, 30,000 over the course of a day. If I did that every day, I would be a skinny mini. My feet hurt after that.
But that is impressive.
Yeah.
But my question is, how did Elise and Bill get the ottoman from the train station to their house?
They were parked right next to the train station, the Go train station.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Elise was like going to walk. She's, 5 months pregnant? 5 months pregnant? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And she walked a lot. I actually was surprised. She did a really good job making it through the X, and like she was game to try a lot of the food and stuff, and I know that certain things have not sat well with her during her pregnancy, so good on her. We had fun. It was a really good time. So yeah, if you are ever back in Toronto during, this part of the year, the tail end, if you want to do 2 really cool events back to back, you can always go to the Fan Expo. Every year it's around this weekend, and the CNE, which is usually 3 weeks long. Like, it ends Labor Day.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a good time. There's like rides, and there's a spot with like barnyard animals, and like there's like a whole bunch of stuff. Like you're gonna go there for quite a long time when you go and putter around and see things, and it's a great spot to bring kids. They've got areas that are activations for kids and things like that, so it's pretty cool.
It sounds like a time, honestly.
Yeah, it was good fun, and recovering my feet. All right, let's go look at Fantasy Critic real quick, because some games released.
Let's hope the site is up this time.
It is up. We are here. Okay. So on the podcast league, I'm in first, Joelle's in second, Kat's in third. I'm going to scroll through here now and see if there was anything. Ooh, why do I have a needs an open critic link? Oh, World of Warcraft, The War Within is blocked there. This game has a release, but it's not linked to an open critic page. If one exists, you can suggest a correction and we'll get it fixed. Oh, I'm going to have to look into that. Huh. Oh, I lost a point for Flintlock and I didn't realize that. Funny.
Oh. It scored 69.
69. Nice. Catherine, I don't think anything new has come out for you yet, my dear. You did get your Black Myth Wukong locked in. Extra 11 points there.
Yeah.
And down to Joelle. I'm just scanning through really quick. Star Wars Outlaws currently sits at 77, but of course it's not out until Friday, so there's no points on it right now. So just waiting to see on that. And let's see, any history? Did anybody do anything? August 17th, Joelle picked up Metaphor Refantasio, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, with a bid of $5. And Kat, you are full, I am full, and Joelle is full. So the game plays out now. The game plays out.
I can't drop a vow because I have no money to buy more games.
Are you really out? Oh,
I have $4.
$4 on something. You never know. It's all
our minimum bid is $5.
No, I didn't realize that. Okay, $4 it is. Over on the community side, Darth's still in first. Then we got Offshore in second. Pat, then Alban, then Just Star, then Ross, then me, then Phoenix, then Stainsby Kingsby, and then Zhang Pao, in that order. Let's see who had stuff on their list. Ooh, Offshore has a vow locked. It's not going to release, so as a counter pick, so that kind of works in their favor. Let's see. Anybody who had Star Wars? Ooh, I had World of Warcraft: The War Within on both freaking things, and it's locked. I'm screwed. Screwed, I say. Let's see. Who had Star Wars? I'm looking through. Maybe nobody picked up Star Wars. That can't be right. Someone must have picked up Star Wars in our league. I can look at the top. The easiest thing is to look at the top to see who had it.
Yeah, because it's going to come out.
Yeah, Pugs and Pixels. Jessica Starr had it. So, and then we've also got Visions of Mana coming and Squirrel with a Gun coming this week. So, we wait and see. Let's see if any action happened in the history. August 17th, we had two things happen. Ross's Cool Games for Attractive People picked up I Am Your Beast with a bid of $4. And then also Ross's Cool Games for Attractive People dropped Replaced. And that's where we stand on the Fantasy Critic. Catherine, what video games are you playing?
I'm in the Star Wars, but playing Jedi Survivor still.
Yeah.
Slow go, just because, been out and about. Thursday there was I guess at work, and this weekend I had a few plans, so really enjoying it. I don't think it's that long of a game. Like for me, like people are like, yeah, 20, 30 hours. For me, that's a snack. Let's be honest. But I've just kind of like, before we started the podcast, I was peeking into a Discord server I have with some colleagues, and turns out that Star Wars Outlaws was pushed to our Ubisoft Connects. So I guess they gave us the whatever edition that came with like the 3-day advance or whatever.
Oh.
So I have friends and colleagues being like, yo, we're playing Outlaws. I'm like, I'm playing the other Star Wars games. I'm sorry. I'll catch up. But yeah, no, tonight, just a bunch of people saying how they are installing it, installed it, showed up today. And the play, I think if you had like the Ultimate Edition or something, you could play 3 days early.
Yeah, I think people started on the 27th, which is tomorrow. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. But then normal releases on Friday on the 30th.
Yeah, exactly. And because like when we link our Uplay Connect at work, we can like our Uplay is filled with all the games. So apparently Star Wars Outlaws is in there. I'm still debating whether I'm going to play on PC or if I'm going to see if I can get pick up a Xbox code at work.
That's cool.
I'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm going to play it. But I am still playing Fallen Order because I need to know what happens with Cal Kestis. And I found out because I started, puttering around and unlocking shit. Previous games you could get the suits and stuff and cool, like make your lightsaber cooler. In this game, you can have different hairstyles and beards for Cal.
Neat.
And I don't know if that was the case in last game because like the last game is very blurry in my mind, as I've mentioned last podcast. But now you can even modify, like you can unlock materials for your lightsaber, for BD1, and for your suits, and you can modify the colors. Like the customization is much deeper in this game. Like if I remember correctly, in the previous game, you had to find the crystals to modify the light of your lightsaber. In this one, they gave you all the colors of the lightsaber, but they're like, you're going to have to like find materials and stuff like that to actually like customize even more like the actual sword, like the actual like handle and shaft and everything. And I'm like, okay. So now there's like in this little town, there's this alien lady that will take, I think it's called plurite or something. You find minerals along and she will sell you hairstyles and beards. And I was like, okay, I was not mentally prepared for that. I'm at the point where I stopped grinding to get all customizations. But when I find something, I'm like, this is nice. Maybe I'll equip it. But I'm trying to get more through the story. If not, I get stuck in a game. It never ends. So, but yeah, I figured this out this week as I finally left the tutorial area type thing. And to answer the question from last week, yes, I can respec my skills, but it costs a skill point to respec.
Oh, interesting.
The first respec is free.
Oh.
And I decided I was not committed enough yet to really respec. But I think once maybe I unlock all the stances, I'll see if I respec. But for now, I'm just putting all my points in the force, and I'm just throwing stormtroopers around. I grabbed a stormtrooper. The other one shot him in the back. He died, so I grabbed another one and threw it at the guy who was shooting me. It was very satisfying. That's the one thing I like about the Jedi games, like from Respawn. Mm-hmm. They let you be a fucking Jedi with all the bells and whistles. They're like, here's your lightsaber. You're using the force. You're gonna do all the acrobatics like Yoda did. And you're going to have a force push and force pull and push, and you can just fuck around. And I love it. I know Outlaws is something completely different, but right now I'm enjoying being the space wizard and just being like, look at you sitting next to an edge. Bye!
Yeah. While you are a space wizard, I am a scoundrel.
Yes.
So I got hands-on with Star Wars Outlaws full game. Not gonna lie, saw people were getting it early last week, and I was like, ooh, and I went and asked my Ubisoft rep, and something happened. Anyways, I ended up getting my code on Friday, so I downloaded it Friday evening, and then Saturday I decided to go and walk my legs off at conventions and expos. So I spent most of the afternoon yesterday playing Star Wars Outlaws, so this is very much a beginner entry. I have 5-6 hours in, maybe, kind of thing. So yeah, I got through the beginning, which really brings you up to the title sequence, which I kind of forgot that we hadn't had a title sequence, like with the logo reveal, and then all of a sudden it hit, and I was like, oh shit, I'm in the game now.
Yeah.
For reals. And I played through the session that was what I had played at the event at Ubisoft 2 weeks ago. Not gonna lie, still kind of got stuck in one of the same spot. I'm terrible at hiding from the bad guys and sneaking around sometimes, and I always get seen. I'm like, I gotta find better ways to do this. But then I started playing with Nyx a little bit more and using him to distract and stuff like that. And I'm like, stuff that I didn't figure out the last time. But yeah, I like powered through that part as much as I can. Now I'm like still on the world, that first starting world, and kind of making my way around, realizing that I can upgrade my speeder and my blaster. I'm going through and trying to see if I can get that done. The person who upgrades your speeder, I think there's a little bit of sexual tension there between her and I'm pretty sure it's a her and KVS. So that's an interesting one to explore later if that anything evolves out of that. I felt some vibes.
We love a good romance.
I love a good romance. So yeah, that was cool. Just poking my way around. I'm very much like just discovering the UI, things ping as I drive by in the open world, and then I go and explore and find that it's a cache full of credits, and like it very much has that open world vibe with the Star Wars flavor. I am feeling a lot of other Ubisoft games in this, even more than what I had played in the other one, the other previous session, because obviously in going through the beginning of the game, I got a lot more tutorial walkthrough. So like there's parts where you can hide in the bushes and whistle, and like dude can come over and then you can slap them silly and then they go to sleep, or they're dead, and you can walk away. So I've been doing that a lot of scooting around and like setting off detonation things with Nyx, and yeah, it's just kind of crazy how much I'm seeing influences from other games in there, but they fit. Like, but it's not like also too that like I'm like, oh, that's obvious. It's like that's what I want to do in playing a stealth game. Like that's what I expect to happen because I've been trained for those types of tropes and mechanics and whatever else, right? In these types of games. So yeah, I mean the game's reviewing really well, which is great. It's got a 77. And yeah, I'm excited to just play more. I think that this is going to be my game to play right up until I have to go away for the CCMAs, and then I'll have to get something to travel with, as I have a nice long flight to and from Edmonton. Because the Canadian Country Music Awards are in Edmonton this year.
Of course they are. Of course they're somewhere like in Alberta. How long ago was that?
They were in Hamilton last year, so...
Okay, yes,
and next year, I think they're in Kelowna.
Okay.
BC.
Okay, well, that's an even longer flight.
But that would be beautiful.
Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. How long is the flight from Toronto to Edmonton?
I leave here at 9:30. I get there at like 11:30, and then there's 2 hours difference, so that makes 4 hours?
Yeah.
I guess it's about the same to go to Mexico. It's a 3 hours and a bit.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's enough time to get pretty hands-on with the game. The question is what am I going to play on my Switch? And you know me, I need to start a game in advance, because if not, I get all distracted, especially 9:30 in the morning. Plus, I'm traveling with a colleague, so I might be chatting it up a little bit. So I don't know. I kind of wish that the new Zelda was going to be out, but it's not. It's not out until September 16th or 26th or something.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to look at what games you didn't finish and just pick it up again.
Yeah, I could do that. Or like, I haven't tried Cult of the Lamb yet. I've got a bunch of games on there that I haven't, like I bought and just haven't done. The backlog is real. So
yeah.
It's not like I don't got the backlog. All right. Catherine, are you ready to go on a walk down memory card lane?
Okay, let's struggle bus all by myself.
Each week, the team will have to guess a historical game that would have released during this time of this episode's airing. We'll start with its release date, and then I'll give hints about the game for Catherine to attempt to guess what that is. Catherine, today's game released on August 29th, 2017.
29th, 2017. Mm-hmm. What was I doing in August of 2017? What was I playing? What was in the gestalt of gaming back then? Isn't 2017 the year that like all the good games came out? It was like Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It was a lot of bows and arrows. There was Tomb Raider. Ish.
It's when the Switch released.
It is when the Switch released, yes, because of Breath of the Wild. I'll take the next hint, please.
This game is a turn-based tactics game with exploration and puzzle solving.
Turn-based. Is it Persona 5?
No, it is not.
Okay. I feel like Persona 5 came out in that time-ish.
2016, I think.
Yeah.
Persona 5.
Yeah. Turn-based. There was not a Fire Emblem that year because Three Houses was a bit after that. Puzzle solving, exploration, turn-based. I'll take the next hint.
It's a crossover game.
A crossover. Oh, Mario Rabbids. A Kingdom Battle.
You are correct. Mario and Rabbids, or Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle came out on August 29th, 2017. It is a turn-based tactics game with exploration and puzzle solving. It's a crossover game. There are 8 playable characters. The characters are aided by a Roomba-like robot named Beepo that serves as their instructor. The main antagonist is a corrupted AI who causes chaos by creating fusion monsters. The game is compatible with Amiibo, and they unlock weapons. Each character has special skills. It is the first time for some of the characters in this game to ever use guns. That was a big deal. Mm-hmm. Prior to release, the director of the game showed off one character. It was the Rabbid Peach character, doing a parody Sailor Moon-like transformation, but it was never used in the game. This game was not the first time the developer wanted to do a crossover game, including the 2 IPs involved. That would be between Ubisoft and Nintendo. In the opening sequence, the character Genius Girls opens a magazine, which shows herself in a poster referencing Pagan Min, the main antagonist from Far Cry 4. And the last hint that I had, that Catherine obviously didn't need, the game was a commercial success, becoming one of the best-selling third-party titles on the Nintendo Switch. That is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Good job, Kat.
Thank you.
3 things, 3 hints.
Yeah. And it's like it was one of the first game I worked on when I joined Ubisoft, like when it came to like launching and marketing. Like I remember I joined in 2017 and like that E3, we were working on the announcements for that game, which came the meme, "Don't Cry Ubisoft Man," because the game director from Ubisoft,
Davide?
Yeah, in Italy. Are they in Milan?
I forget. Between Ubisoft, Paris, and Milan, I think.
Yeah, but it was
but I wasn't going to say where it was coming from because it was too darn easy.
Yeah. But the main studio was the Italian one, and that guy basically, it was a dream come true, and he had like the director of Nintendo basically say his name and thank him, and he started bawling. And it was a big thing, like, "Don't cry, Ubisoft, man."
Yeah,
I think he's left Ubisoft like recently.
I think I heard that he left. I think he did the second one, and then left Ubisoft. Yep. Yeah. Cool.
It was one of my favorite gaming meme. Just this man's dream being realized. I was like, this is what video games are about.
Yeah. Apparently, they had pitched another a crossover game for the Wii, but Nintendo had turned it down, and I guess they struck gold with the Switch game.
I feel like Switch is when they wanted to go more with third-party titles or open it up more to third-party, but I guess it's another thing to open up their franchise. Because I know for them to get Star Fox in... what was that game called? In the Toys to Life game? Yeah, Starlink. Thank you. It was like under lock and key. And I remember like they were supposed to announce the DLC and the expansion, and I was working for the store, and I'm like, they're really late into sending us this key art, and we didn't know because they were like, how Nintendo needs to be like very tight, no leaks with Nintendo, so they were very 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 careful even internally, and I was like, they're like, oh, you got to make these assets. I'm like, I can't make these assets without a key art, and if they send it too late, I can't do my shit. And at one point, they were just like, okay, well, I had the person from Toronto, you got to tell me you're not going to do shit. I'm like, I'm going to do my job. Like,
Yeah.
Then I open the key art and I see Star Fox. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Like, and I had to like be careful, like even people walking around because like there were like a couple of other games like sitting next to us. And I was just like, okay. But that was big. So working with Nintendo is never easy. Any game dev out there knows that like there are a few places that are notorious for being very strict. Nintendo is one of them.
When I was looking up facts and, tidbits about the game, because I obviously, I can say the normal facts about the game, but I try to find a few interesting things that you didn't know. This one was a hard one for me to wrap my head around, making a question out of it or a fact about it without giving it away. But the composer of that game, Grant Kirkhope, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He didn't know what he was signing up for until he signed his NDA and whatever else, and they showed him and had him, showed him a bit of the game. It was just called apparently Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the longest time as a code name. They didn't actually say who else was in it. And I mean, it's a big thing too to give Mario a gun for the first time ever. So that's a lot of trust.
Didn't we have Grant come on the podcast?
It was, no, we did an interview with him. I think one of our contributors had done an interview with him at I think it was actually at Fan Expo years ago.
Yeah.
I was in Montreal at the time. And that was actually used in somebody else's video too. They had done it and quoted us in it from our video.
Yeah, it was from Fan Expo, yeah.
It was I think it was a Did You Know Gaming had tagged us in it. Because they had gotten it, because they were talking about video game music or something like that. Because he's done so much stuff, right?
Yeah,
he did the Banjo-Kazooie stuff, and
he did a lot. That was a fun one.
Still working on things. All right, Kat, I think it's time to get into news of the week because we've got a really wild story to talk about. You ready for that?
Yep.
Let's go. And we're back. Time to talk news, and this is a really interesting yet disturbing story considering where we are living in the internet space right now. And it's all around an accessibility advocate who was catfishing the entire community. Catherine, do you want to bring us through this story?
Yes. So, if you don't know Coty Craven, he founded the website Can I Play That?, which is a website dedicated to accessibility in games. So basically, I'm deaf or hard of hearing. Can I play? And I want to play this game. Can I play it? And basically, they review games in terms of that. Big on reviewing accessibility accessories as well, like the new 8-bit DOS controllers that we saw. And Coty had several partners that also helped him, wrote for the site, and were accessibility advocates. And we're not sure they even existed to begin with. The most prominent one being Susan Banks, who was on Twitter at @OneOddGamerGirl, who described herself as being deaf, queer, and Muslim. And she started to write and work with them, and eventually introduced Coty as her partner. And if I remember correctly, was it in 2018 or 2019, he announced that she had passed away.
2019, March 5th, 2019. And there was a tweet from Able Gamers. A lot of us know that community that Steven Spoon runs. And there was a tweet that posted, "It's with our deepest of sadness that we say goodbye to one of our own, our friend and ally in the fight for game accessibility. Susan can't play it," which is essentially Susan Banks. Susan was a force for the industry and will be sorely missed. Her life mission will continue on though. And then there was a GoFundMe link.
Yeah. And essentially, the way he announced her death was that Apparently, she had dropped a KitchenAid mixer on her foot. They went to the hospital. Something went wrong. They had to amputate a leg, 48 hours. They had to amputate the other one. Then he announced that she had passed away. And people had contacted the hospital where she was staying at because they wanted to send her flowers. Because, like, at this point, this woman is well established and has a lot of mutuals. And, you know, like in these types of circles, especially accessibility-wise, you often, like, seeing people in person is hard. So what do? You send them flowers, or if you can do something via phone or online, that's what you'll do, right? So somebody contacted the hospital to see if they could send flowers. And turns out, no patient in that name at all. So, and later on, Coty came out with another partner named Deb Vaughn, who's also deaf, who's black. And they started a story about a 97-year-old woman who played games together. And it's just like, as you read this article, it's just weave and weave and weave. And again, when Deb Vaughn started to be more active in the industry and things like that, people started to look into her alumni to see where she studied and things like that. And turns out the school was like, we don't know who that is. Like, yeah.
So what's crazy about this is that the writer of this article on IGN, Grant Stoner, is a member of the accessibility community, was an editor at Can I Play That?
Yeah.
From September 2019 through January 2021. He obviously interacted with all these people.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, I interacted with a lot of them on social media.
Yeah.
Through the communities that I know through Steve Saylor, right? Like, you know, and we try to uplift whomever we see in the different communities across video games and things like that to, you know, get the word out and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I had been following Susan. I had been following Coty. And yeah, I follow Grant. And when Grant had shared this story that he started digging in with other editors and journalists at IGN being like, this doesn't make sense. They're trying to put two and two together. Mm-hmm. And they're like, this doesn't make sense. And they're starting to realize that these people that Coty had created didn't exist. They were not real. And a lot of people probably didn't think too much of it because, like you mentioned, that they, you know, when someone's deaf, like, the way to communicate is probably normal to be text message and emails and Discord texts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Not a Zoom call like you and I are necessarily having right now, just because that is not potentially accessible for them. Especially if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know sign language or things like that. So, you know, I can only imagine how heartbreaking, traumatizing, anxiety-inducing the writing of this article is for Grant, as someone who essentially thought these people were his colleagues and his allies, that didn't exist. And now he has to dig into this and figure it all out. And, you know, there are folks too, you know, Susan was uplifted so much in the accessibility community that there was an award named after her. And obviously that's changed now, as the allegations started to come out. Mm-hmm. But it's just a wild story to see that this person, Coty Craven, was essentially using the accessibility and also, you know, being folks in marginalized communities and stuff online and using it to his benefit to get his stuff out there. Right. Yeah. And that's so disheartening to see that, you know, we always hear catfishing on a different level. You know, it's somebody trying to date somebody into pretending to be, you know, better looking than they actually are, or someone catfishing to, like, steal money and things like that. And I mean, that's technically still happening because there was a GoFundMe up for Susan, but now it's someone catfishing essentially for clout in the video game world, and such a detriment to the accessibility community too, right? Because, like, anytime someone fakes, you know, something like this and they say we all listen, and then we turn around and we turn out as fact, now we're going to self-doubt, or we're going to doubt every other instance that something might pop up, right? You know, there's always that. It's like, prove it, show photos. And that's thing, or, you know, like, do something to prove you're real, right?
Yeah.
So such a wild, wild story. Considering Can I Play That has really, like, moved up in the ranks of, like, importance in the accessibility communities over the past few years.
Yeah, and it's just sad because, like, as Steve Spawn came out saying, you know, that he didn't see the signs because he said he never talked to them directly because you can't expect to talk directly to somebody who's deaf. So it was always like through email. And for him, that was normal. And he's disabled himself. He's like, he's in a wheelchair, right? So for him, a lot of in-person interactions are possibly dangerous and are hard. So, you know, it's such a disheartening story because, you know, there is good in the sense that Can I Play That is such an important site. And a lot of the work done, quote unquote, by, you know, Deb and Susan that never existed was good and was important, but it just feels icky that this person basically infiltrated this space, that he didn't belong there.
Yeah. Grant writes in the moving forward section of this article, and speaking as a disabled individual, writing a story like this is no easy feat. The disabled community is incredibly close. We defend each other's work, and especially our existence within a greater gaming industry. To bring forth a story like this required immense dedication, determination, and an understanding that the accessibility and disabled community will ultimately need to heal from such a piece. However, after countless hours and weeks, we truly believe that this is a story worth reporting on, not only to highlight the unique nature of the case, but also to allow the varying impacted communities time to process and rebuild. Each of Craven's partners embedded themselves into varying marginalized communities, each allegedly being deaf, a person of color, queer, and having some form of major health episode like cancer. And though Craven's varying social media accounts and presence in the industry, he was able to ensure each partner remained visible. Their work, whether written through social media advocacy, reached thousands. From AAA studios to different community spaces, Banks, Hamid, and Vaughn, which are all the aliases, entrenched themselves into the gaming industry. For approximately 10 years, the gaming industry has consistently supported Craven and these three partners. From awards to recognition to funds shared for alleged partners, Craven has cemented himself as authority within the accessibility space, yet no evidence proves their existence. And for a community that consists of numerous marginalized identities, losing trust in prominent figures because of alleged lies is harmful to the overall support and acceptance of these groups and games. Wow.
It was a hard read, honestly, and it's hard for us to give you the TLDR because every time we feel we take out, we give a summary or but this detail is important, but these details important. And it's just if you just want to, I highly suggest you read the article to see all the nuance and hear all the stories.
Do you understand the amount of work and effort to pull the wool over all of our eyes? Right? And a lot of very prominent people who would have never have thought, right? Stephen Vaughn said he didn't see.
Yeah.
So it's, a lot of us didn't see and didn't ask questions because who are we to question, right? And then for things to all just add up. So yeah, go read the article. I read it while I was in the subway on my way to Fan Expo because that's when it started breaking. Was Friday night and a Saturday morning, and started reading it, and I was just flabbergasted because it every so often you'll see a story about someone that where in a certain sense, or you've interacted with, or had some sort of thing happen, and then it's happened to us a few times now where shitty things come out about people that are just messing with the good people that are just trying to get the right things out there, and it just sucks.
We've taken down a few episodes once in a while.
Yeah.
We've gone back.
Yeah, just because people do stupid shit.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had time to like discuss with the Steve Saylor.
No, not yet, because I didn't get a chance to see him yet, so I haven't spoken to him about it.
So
I know that he's tweeted about it. Also, Grant's tweeted about, the process in doing this and talking about it a little bit, because obviously this had to be such a turmoil for him.
It
is a lot.
It is a lot. And it's just sad that it just comes out of a space that needed voices. I guess he wasn't the voice, so he made these voices. But honestly, if you feel you need to lie to join a certain space, you don't belong in that space. Is basically like, just put it that way. Like, let's say I'm somebody like Coty Craven, and I've got ideas, and, I can galvanize people, say like, I have an idea for a website. Can I play that? Maybe after that, it's just like reaching out and just being the enabler, like, making the connections, and building the platform and letting the voices talk. That's being an ally. That's just, and knowing when to like let the people do their things, because like sometimes you have an idea, you're not the right person, or people want to do things, but they don't have, especially in circles where people's probably like energy and mental bandwidth is limited. Having somebody like Coty to be like, hey, I'll make a website. Y'all come and I'll make this platform for you guys, and be like that organizer, that galvanizer. But that's not what he did. That's what he could have been.
Well, that's what he could have been. He tried to be, maybe didn't have enough people willing to contribute, so made up people in order to look official or more reputable.
Maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, as of right now, they've taken down all their social media. It can't be found on Twitter, X anymore. The website
website still exists with
but some of the other projects do not that they were working on.
Yeah.
Wow. Go read the story.
It's absolutely mind-boggling of a story.
Yeah. Let's take a little turn, Kat, and talk about Gamescom. A big turn, I guess you could say. So this happened last week. Of course, it being over in Germany and happening in the middle of the workday, I was finding it very hard to be able to watch or partake in anything. So it kind of flew a little bit over my head of things happening. Is there any key announcements that you saw during Gamescom?
So just during opening night live, there was a lot of stuff. Borderlands 4 was officially announced with a nice reveal trailer. Doesn't show much. I think if you're a fan of the series, you watch this and you would get a lot of clues and read into the Easter eggs. But it's basically,
they were probably hoping to build off the movie.
So,
which isn't great.
So Borderlands 4 officially announced, coming out next year. There was some more screenshots for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It's the details for a single-player campaign. Which, if I remember correctly, Call of Duty always comes with a pretty good campaign, but people stay for the PvP. For shits and giggle, Goat Simulator is getting remastered. So that original game by Coffee Stain Studios that was basically just a project to teach devs how to use the engine and get stuff going and work on other projects, that became kind of like a thing of its own, and a release game with DLCs and extras and shit like that. They're remastering it and putting all of the content, some content that was even only on certain platforms, into a big remaster. I fucking love Goat Simulator. It's the best meme that doesn't want to die. That became an actual...
That and the duck game.
Oh, Goose Game, yes.
Yeah.
This one is self-serving. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which is by Don't Nod Studio, the ones that make those interactive stories that are really fun. They revealed their first gameplay trailer. So, and Bloom and Rage will be released in 2 parts, and the first part is released on February 18th. Second part is going to be on March 18th of 2025.
Yeah, that was a game I think I had in my Fantasy Critic, and then they pushed it to next year.
Path of Exile 2 early access release in November. So Path of Exile fans, that's going to happen. There was apparently a trailer for Dune Awakening, but I didn't see the trailer floating around. But big one also, Genshin Impact coming to Xbox on November 20th. And it made its way to PlayStation and mobile. I don't think
it started mobile and then went.
It was free to play on PC
Yeah.
and mobile. Then it went to PlayStation. Now it's coming to Xbox. I don't think it's on Nintendo.
I don't know. Let's look up Genshin.
I think it's a free to play with a lot of gacha mechanics and stuff. So I don't think Nintendo would be down with that.
It's released on Android, iOS, PlayStation 4, and Windows in 2020, and for PlayStation 5 in 2021, with Xbox Series S coming November 2024. So no, it's not on Switch. People love that game, though.
Yeah. I gotta look into it just because I work on the live game, and I gotta look at their monetization and stuff. I need to give it a good look-see. Monument Valley 3 coming to December, exclusive to Netflix games.
Interesting.
I wonder if the studio got purchased by Netflix.
I am not sure.
Does Monument? Is it just one person, or is it a studio? No, I don't want the place in Arizona. Monument Valley game.
Us Two Games is the name of the developer.
Okay.
They're a London-based software development studio focused on digital design. Sorry, that's the air conditioning unit outside turning on. Yeah, I think they probably just... They have 2 founders, Matt Miller and John Sinclair.
I guess.
I don't think they were purchased by Netflix. They probably just have an agreement to develop it for Netflix.
They probably just got a good money. Some good monies.
Got a good deal.
Yes. And, of course, what people were waiting for the most. Civilization 7 official reveal trailer.
Neat.
That's a big one, because Civilization 6 came out a while ago. 2016. So this is 9 years between Civ games. These are a very fan favorite, by the way. For city builders, like Civ is
I've never played one. I need to.
It's very complex. But it's the kind of game, apparently, like, you know, the meme, just one more turn, and then it's the next morning. It's because of Civs, yes.
All right, I'm going to have to go watch some Let's Play of Civ 2. But my understanding, too, is it runs you through different eras, too, right? It's not just, you're really just, like, you're following it through, like, you know, the beginnings of time up through, like, the Dark Ages, and then, like, medieval, then on to, like, industrial age and all that kind of stuff, right?
It's a very big one, and it's very sophisticated. And it's not just, like, you know, like Anno or other games where they kind of, like, build a game in a certain era. This one is always, like, an evolution. I've never played them. But I am not into these games, but I have a lot of friends who are diehard Civ fans.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go take a gander at it, see what people played Civ 6, and see if it's something that intrigues me, because you know how I like these kinds of games.
And last little tidbit highlight. There's way more, by the way, but we're already 1 hour into this episode. I'll have a link to an IGN article that has the highlights and a lot of trailers, but. Last highlight for me is that Prime Video announces Secret Level. It's a original series that's going to bring you more stories about games you love. So you saw Armored Core, Mega Man, Sifu. I think I saw God of War. Like I saw Kratos in their trailer.
So it's like a docu-series talking about these games?
Ooh, it's stories. It's just a story anthology. It's fiction.
Oh.
So yeah.
Is it animated?
Yep.
Okay.
So it premieres December 10th on Prime Video.
Interesting.
So that one looked really cool. That one I was hyped about. Like a lot of announcements. I was like, oh yeah, expecting that. Oh yeah, DLC for this, like Diablo 4 or whatever. And then Borderlands was like, boom. I was like, oh. And Civ was like, hey, we finally have a trailer. We announced we were working on it. I was like, hey. And then this at the tail end, I was like, oh shit. This actually looks nice. And it's a lot of different franchises from different studios, different IPs. There's like no rhyme or reasons to it, as in it's not like it's a Nintendo thing. There's PlayStation Studios, there's like FromSoft, there's a few indies in there, like Sifu, the studio that made Sifu. There's Mega Man. So it basically they kind of like it feels like they just contacted a bunch of publishers and being like, would you let us make a story about your IP? And some people just said yes, and then they have this. So I am very curious, pleasantly surprised for that announcement. Very curious. Because we always need something to watch while we have dinner. And I think
Ain't that the
I
truth?
think a little animated episode about Mega Man. Because who is Mega Man? What does he do? Why does he absorb the powers of the foes he defeats? I want to know.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? I am Detective John Kempo. Get to the chopper!
Underrated movie.
Yes, totally. Kindergarten Cop. All right, folks. That ends the show for this week. As always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories mentioned in this episode. You definitely want to go and read Grant Stoner's article on IGN. Go do that. If you have the power to rate and view this podcast, that'd be much appreciated. Why? It helps with discovery, kicks us up in the rankings, and we use the comments to build our show. Thank you, Kat, for being on the show with me this week. It's nice having the two of us. I miss Joelle, but still, it's nice the two of us. Where can people find you online?
For photos of all the tomato food I'm making, CSDSBINS, CSDBien on X, Thread, Blue Sky, Instagram. But I also post them to the Girls on Games Discord because that's where I hang out the most.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Leah Jew on most social media platforms, but you want to know everything there's to know about Girls on Games. You could track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games on Instagram, Threads, and now TikTok.
Yeah.
Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more. But of course, if you ever want to know, pardon me, talking so long, my voice is gone. If you want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I'm off to explore a galaxy far, far away again.
Same.
Bye.